This year I went to the Maine Fiber Frolic, an event that I go to every year. I've gone for probably the past 5 or 6 years, minus when they were closed for COVID. So every year when I first get there, I'll hop into the fleece barn where you can see the full fleece sets that are shaven from sheep. And it's a nice way to look at the beginning process of all of your favorite knit and crochet projects, because this is what you have before you actually get yarn. You get the fleece from the sheep, you process it into roving, and then from there you can turn it into yarn. So this festival is a great way to actually see the entire process from sheep to finished project. It was incredibly rainy this year, which unfortunately it has been a lot of the previous years. I think we've had maybe 1 or 2 sunny years. Last year was pretty comfortable. I went with my mother, who you can see in a lot of the shots. She was very eager to lead. So we went into the fleece barn first, and then we went into the rabbit barn where we could see all of the Angora rabbits and all of the Angora sheep, or the Angora sheep, the Angora wool that's actually made from their hair. So the rabbits are adorable. We love to see them every year. They're usually on sale from like $70 to $200. One day, maybe we'll bring home a rabbit? Question mark. So after we go into the rabbit barn, we can start seeing the vendors, and they have a lot of sheep on site. Usually they'll have a sheepdog herding demonstration, but we were there early and we left early because it was raining so much. So we didn't get an opportunity to see if they actually did that considering the weather. But you can see in this building, we have more vendors, we have a few more fleeces, we have some unprocessed yarn, and this is more of the natural fibers like wool. This was the first table that I stopped at, and I started looking at yarn because I was looking at the roving, which is this really thick bundles of fiber, and that's what you use to spin into yarn. I do have a drop spindle that I haven't used for a while, and I want to get back into it because I do have some very pretty roving that has been sitting forever, and I'd like to actually try spinning my own yarn and actually completing it. So this is a selection of roving. This is the chillest guy in the place. So after we saw the first vendors, we managed to pick our way over to the main vendor hall, which is usually where I go. I like picking out really pretty hand-dyed yarns, and they are very expensive, but we love them. So everyone that comes here will usually have hand-dyed yarns, handmade shawl pins, buttons, ceramic jewelry, things like that. And it's just very cool to see the finished projects that they have to show off their yarns and show off their accessories. So this guy makes the most gorgeous wooden items, especially shawl pins. Someday I'm gonna buy from him. I want to buy from him. Every time I see his booth, I think, oh shit, here we go. I never have a need. I have a want. I don't have a need. And maybe next year, maybe next year we'll get something. One thing that I've really gotten into lately is more colorful and loud yarns. Neons, just vivid colors. And there was a lot of that here. There were a lot of things that were mixed with metallic strands that were very pretty, very shiny, very loud. And it was something that I did want to take home. And I took some home from a different booth that wasn't featured. But this booth is actually Shirsty Cat, which I buy from fairly often, actually. I found them at the Fiber Frolic years ago, and I buy from them online. Not regularly, but maybe once or twice a year. They have gorgeous yarn. It's a dream to work with. A lot of my hand warmers and wrist warmers are made from their yarn. So this is us going back to Sassy Black Yarns. And you can kind of see the booth next door where they have a ton of neon yarns. I did end up going there and grabbing some of their yarn because I loved it. But I've wanted to buy from Sassy Black Yarn since I saw them at the Freeport Fiber Retreat. They just have gorgeous projects and they have gorgeous yarn, and I can't wait to actually hop in and start working with the yarn that I picked up from them. There is a second vendor barn, or a second enclosed vendor building, and in this building they have hot knits, and hot knits is so gorgeous. I love all of their yarn. I love all of their project bags. I grabbed their business card. I think I have probably 7 or 8 at home already because they're a goal to buy from. And I definitely want to get some of their vibrant colors because they're just so gorgeous. I actually was looking at one color and it's plied neon green and black yarn. And if it were yellow, a neon yellow yarn plied with the black, I would have brought it home immediately because I kind of want to do a pair of bumblebee arm warmers. Words. So that's a goal. That'll probably be a summer purchase or a fall purchase online. This year was probably wetter than previous years. The last few years that we went where it was wet, it was more of a drizzle. But there was actual standing water, so my sneakers got soaked through. It was awesome. A lot of the outdoor vendors didn't get a lot of love simply because people didn't want to stand out in the rain. And there were a lot of people with umbrellas. Unfortunately, not the homespun girls. They were commenting on how a lot of people had umbrellas and, oh, they're so prepared. Or not. One thing that I was kind of disappointed in was I went there for one of the food trucks. Well, one of the food trucks I wanted to eat there for the first time, and they didn't open while we were there. I think we left a little bit too early, partly because of the rain and partly because, well, mostly because of the rain, but we were just ready to leave early. One place that's always full is the used equipment barn. And that was what had a line at the beginning of the video. So someday if I get into doing spinning wool and I actually want a wheel, I'll probably end up buying from the used equipment barn. So that was just a quick peek at the Fiber Frolic that takes place in Windsor, Maine. We went through fairly quickly. I think we were in and out in under an hour, which isn't really typical. We'll usually spend an hour or two there. They usually have things like clowns and live performances, things like that for the kids. And usually there's a lot more time to actually hang out and look at everything that everyone has. But where it was so wet this year, more wet than usual, it was kind of hard to really see what there was to buy simply because we were juggling the umbrellas, we were juggling the camera. The camera wasn't really an issue, but I'm gonna blame it. So it was a fun trip. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for next year's. The woman that I bought my really sparkly yarn from, she's actually part of the Maine yarn cruise. So I'll actually be going to her actual store slash farm in July. She's said to call her on the day that I'm going to be around York, and she'll open her farm by appointment. So I'm very eager to go there and pick up more yarn. I was going to have her dye some custom yarn for me that would go with the mini skeins that I bought from her, but I actually found a new project for my mini skeins. So I think I'm just going to pick up more mini skeins when I'm there to do more mini projects. I'm very excited this year. I think it's going to be fun going on the yarn cruise. I hope that when we do the Fiber Frolic next year, the weather will be a little bit more participatory. Or maybe not, because as I commented to one vendor, unfortunately the weather isn't participating, and she said, oh, I think it's participating a lot this year. So maybe if the weather could hold off a bit next year. But that was just a quick look at the Maine Fiber Frolic. I wanted to really share something that I'm passionate about, and this is an event that I go to every year that I'm able to. And I hope you enjoyed this quick look at an event that I think a lot of people don't really know exists. I don't think people are really aware of the culture that kind of surrounds yarn crafts. And it's nice when I'm able to actually show it to people so that they can say, oh, wow, you have things going on, which is something I'm going to show in November as well when I go to the Fiber Festival of New England in Massachusetts. So for now, I'm going to say GG. I want to thank you if you've lasted this long, and I hope that you have a great day. So GG.